So, what exactly is the Wemby effect in San Antonio?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Chris Sabat, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great middle of the work week. Hump day, everybody. Just a few more days and the weekend is here. Hey, what are we talking about today? The Wemby effect. It's already in full force in San Antonio, and the kid is not even in the NBA yet. He's not even officially a part of the member of the Spurs, even though we all know they're going to pick him. What is the vibe in San Antonio? What is that Wemby effect? Are ticket sales going through the roof right now at the AT&T Center? What about restaurants, hotels, bars in San Antonio? We're going to be talking about that, as well as Charles Barkley taking yet another pot shot at the Spurs. Shocker. And the mayor dunks all over Skip Bayless. That's right. San Antonio's mayor took one too. Skip Bayless. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts, on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, now on the Sirius XM app. Hey, this episode is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA. When you enter promo code LockedOnNBA, they'll throw in a free custom Bird Dog Yeti-style tumbler with every order. Who is helping me today on this episode? He's back, everybody. The Vin Dog, the big dog himself, the man that every insect wants to fight, but he always defeats them single-handedly with one swipe. Vinny Vinzetta, my colleague at Ken's 5 TV. Follow him on Twitter at VVinzetta. Vin Dog, welcome back.
Always good to be here, my good friend. Although you might need to remove the big dog from me. I think that title now goes to Wemby. I'm only 5'8", so I'll just I'll stand down and give the title to him.
You know what, Vin? I was thinking about that the other day, media day or whenever they have the media availability, and when we talked to him, we thought looking up to Tim Duncan and Robinson was bad enough. Now this is Wemby now, 7'4", 7'5". Our necks are going to get a workout this season, Vinny.
Well, there's a term in the TV business called sit-down interviews. I think we just might want to have Wemby sit down every time. But even at 7'3", 4, 5, whatever he is, he's still going to tower over us as he's sitting down. So yeah, It's going to be a brand new world.
Yesterday's Locked On Spurs, we spoke with a doctor, and he comes on throughout the regular season to discuss about player injuries, the mental side, physical side of things of the Spurs NBA. And we talked about Wemby. He said that even at 19 years old, Vinny, he would venture a very solid guess in his doctor-educated guess that his bones are not fused yet, that he probably still has more growing to go.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I've actually seen on social media some people wonder if he still is going to get even bigger. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, well, but everybody else, you want to go back to yesterday's Locked On Spurs to check that out. It's a very informative discussion about Wemby and his history of injuries. But yeah, he says that at 19 years old, that physically there's certain signs you can tell if the pituitary gland is over like hyper. And he said that Wemby is not showing like the aggressive side of it, but based on his educated guess, he speculates that his growing is probably not done. Oh, they'll probably coming to a quick end, sooner than later. But hey, Vinny, we're here to talk about the Wemby effect. Yeah, shock everybody. Another episode about Wembanyama. Can't get enough of him, and he's not even in the NBA. Vinny, you talk about the Wemby effect, and that's kind of a term taking over right now, not just in San Antonio, but in the NBA. The NBA is introducing its first ever NBA con, kind of like a Comic Con, but an NBA con. Wemby's not even in the NBA, and he's already part of the headline list of players showing up. Nike's already promoting him. His games in France are being promoted throughout the French season out there with Wemby and his team, the Metros 92. What are you seeing, Vinny, right now in San Antonio specifically? What is that Wemby effect?
Well, I haven't been anywhere where people haven't been talking about it or folks have recognized me from local television or places that I go on a daily basis, and people know who I am, whether it be honestly dry cleaning or to the store
Right.
or
Yeah.
to a city park to get in some steps. Everybody is asking and talking about it and wants to have a quick conversation about the Wemby-effect, and hearing Sean Elliott's comments and those from the network analyst side of things. I mean, he really is going to change just so much. I mean, it's a complete 180 from what it's been. And you mentioned just the fan excitement. I mean, they had a select-a-seat event on Saturday at the AT&T Center, and the line was out the door of people waiting to go in and work with Spurs sales associates to pick their seat and to kind of pick where they want to sit for the year of their season ticket package. So it hasn't taken long at all. I mean, it's been an overnight phenomenon, and everybody is posting about it on social media. And I mean, the Spurs in this city, of course, it's always been the hot sports ticket, but now it's just jumped into a brand new stratosphere. It's really amazing to watch. And they talk about the fact that he could add $500 million to the value of the franchise, perhaps over the course of his career. And people don't think about this one, Jeff. He's going to help. We assume if he is what they say he will be, he's going to help fill out visiting arenas. Like when the Spurs are on the road, those ticket sales will go up because people want to see him game by game.
I look at Wembyana, and he's not even in the NBA yet. I mean, let alone San Antonio, but yet even restaurants, coffee shops, everywhere in San Antonio, you cannot escape Wemby's face. Everybody knows about the Miro in San Antonio, but that was before the Spurs won the lottery. But you fast forward now that they've won it, there's a local coffee shop that sponsors this episode of Locked On Spurs with Mudslingers. They've introduced the alien drink. They have fans churning out alien Wemby themed fan made t-shirts. I'm not gonna be surprised we're gonna see in the corners of South Side, North Side, West Side of San Antonio just knockoff jerseys, knockoff t-shirts of Wemby. I was thinking about this, Vinny. If the hype is real and Wemby is the real goods, if he's the thing, I cannot imagine, or I can't even think about the last Spur that had this kind of hype. I know there was Tim Duncan and that big welcome to San Antonio party they threw at Alamo Plaza. I remember that. I was there. But as far as being ballyhooed by the league, I can't think of anybody who's reached this that's worn the silver and black jersey. Vinny, can you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, pre-hype, before he's even in this country and before he's even been drafted. No, I mean, with all due respect to Tim and to David and the Iceman and whoever. No, there's been nobody. I mean, Kawhi got a little bit of hype.
Yeah.
But no, nothing that you can measure like this. Not even close. I mean, the economics of this has just been remarkable. And I've seen some people comment to me on social media. They're like, "Oh my goodness, this poor kid, LOL. All this hype is on his shoulders. I sure hope he can deliver." And I kind of thought about that, and I thought it's true, man. There's a lot being put on him right now before we're still a handful of weeks away from draft night. Everybody has him already. When can we get him in the Basketball Hall of Fame? So sometimes I think we need to pump the brakes just a little bit.
I agree.
But there is a ton of hype. Never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I think with David, there was hype, but I think it dissipated because he had to do that commitment with the Naval Academy. And then he showed up, and then the hype began. Remember the Mr. Robinson neighborhood, Nike commercials, Sesame Street appearances. Let's not forget, David Robinson, in my opinion, Vinny, I disagree if you feel like I'm missing somebody here, but I think it was Robinson that has been the most marketable player in Spurs history. You look at what he did. Yeah, he was in MC Hammer videos. He was on the Arsenio Hall show, David Letterman, commercials, the Nike Mr. Robinson, sneaker commercial with Barkley, et cetera, et cetera. Timmy, maybe towards the end of his career, like middle-ish, where maybe it started kind of spiking a bit, the American Express commercials. But Wemby has a chance to shatter this. I mean, just completely shatter this. I've been speaking to some of my contacts within the organization, and I'm just getting their text saying Wow. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. What about you, Vinny? What are you hearing?
The same, the
Yeah.
same. I mean, everybody is into it. I mean, it has just given a new energy and re-energized San Antonio and South Texas for professional basketball like we've never seen. I mean, so many people were commenting on the pictures I posted on Twitter and Facebook of the Selected Seat event
Mhm.
last weekend, and they said, "My goodness, we might finally once again get that lower bowl full of big money people," and it's true. I mean, I think those mid-December games when it's the kind of the first lull of the
Mhm.
season, and those mid-March games after the rodeo road trip. I think all of those games now, if he's in the lineup, will probably be sold out, and we'll get back to seeing regular season Spurs playoff crowds, or regular season Spurs crowds that look like playoff crowds,
Mhm.
night night in and night out. Yeah, just phenomenal.
Yeah, the economics of it is going to be great for San Antonio, obviously for the NBA and the franchise. Fans are going to be re-energized. This team is and the fan base has been going through some lean years. Sure, there was DeMar and LMA for a while, Kawhi for a little bit. You got DeJounte, but it never felt right. Like it didn't feel like Spurs dynasty basketball, and it was close. Maybe a little bit of the DeMar, chapter of his career and this franchise's career with him, but it was always that play-in tournament and out, missing the playoffs. Yeah, but by the way, everybody, brace yourself. Spurs may miss the playoffs next season. Even with Wemby. We'll get into that later. But the point is that now this team has, and the city has a player that they can rally around, just like Timmy, just like David, just like Ice. And yeah, it's going to be great. So I am excited. The Wemby-effect is in full effect in San Antonio and the NBA. Hey, we're not done talking. When we get back, we're going to shift gears, talk about Charles Barkley. Yeah, another pot shot at the silver and black. We're going to find out what he said and Vinny's take right here on Locked On Spurs. Make sure to follow Vinny on Twitter at VVinzetta and go and do that right now. Hey, I want to talk to you about Bird Dogs. Look, if you're looking for some good looking shorts, some sweatpants that feel great, fit great, they have like a good stretchy fabric and it'll fit your body, and you got to go to Bird Dogs right now. Look, they make the fabric that makes your body just look good. Even if you have a little bit of a tummy, that's all right. They got you covered. They give you the freedom to wear shorts, pants on the golf course, in a meeting, on a date, or hanging out with friends. Very versatile clothing. The guys over at the College Football Nerds, they say that they are the perfect pants for dads that have a little bit of an extra gut. Bird Dogs makes them look great and feel comfortable. The Pardon My Take host famously wears pants from Bird Dogs, and the only shorts he truly loves are Bird Dogs. Yeah, they are a hit. Look, you want to go to birddogs.com/lockedonnba right now, enter promo code LockedOnNBA. They'll throw in a free custom Bird Dogs Yeti style tumbler with every order. Vinny, I got to be honest with you. I need some Bird Dogs. I got a little bit of a belly, so these Bird Dogs are come in just right for me. So don't forget, check out birddogs.com/lockedonnba, enter promo code LockedOnNBA. Get yourself a free custom Bird Dog Yeti style tumbler with every order. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Vinny Vinzetta, my colleague at Kens5TV. Follow him on Twitter at VVinzetta. Call him the Vin Dog. Do that right now. Thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You guys are the everydayers. Shocker, tomorrow's going to be more about Wemby. We're getting ready for his arrival in San Antonio. So, Vinny Vinzetta, the big dog, we need your barking. We need your intimidation as the Vin Dog, because Charles Barkley is back at it again. So he was on Sirius XM NBA radio talking about Wemby's arrival. And to a certain degree, he's right. Maybe we may need to temper some expectations. But Vinny, the round mound rebound, said that even with Wemby on board, the Spurs are just the third best Texas team behind Houston, behind Dallas. What gives, Vinny?
What gives is Jeff, give me the Spurs over the Mavs right now. I mean, I look at that DMN article, the Dallas Morning News read that came out over the weekend, and they basically waved the flag and said, well, the Spurs are about to be at the top for a long time again. If this Wemby kid is what everybody says he is,
Mm-hmm.
and the Mavericks are always this win right now attitude, and the roster's typically a mess. And can't we all agree the Kyrie thing was kind of I know he didn't
Mm-hmm.
have all the time in the world, but it was kind of a fail this year
Yes,
with Luka. So I'm not ready to say at all that the Mavs are in a better position than San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockets, I'm with Sean Elliott on the Rockets. They honestly do have some young talent, but they also don't have Wemby. All you got to do is go back and watch the Twitter version of their Rockets group watching the draft, and those guys lost their mind. No, not San Antonio again. But I say all this not to say that the Spurs are in the best position, but they're clearly not the third best team. They're clearly not in that third best position in Texas. No, not at all. I mean, I would put them over the Mavs and probably fighting with a few more pieces to be right there with the Rockets, ready to make some noise in the league in the very near future.
Yeah, like I said, Barkley is right. Is the hype high right now? Of course it is. Are there a lot of expectations of Wemby? Of course there are. And we got to see how he pans out in the highest stage of basketball in the world, that being the NBA. We'll soon find out. But to circle back to the third best team in Texas, I disagree. Are we forgetting, Vinny, or is Barkley forgetting, I should say, that the Spurs are going to have a roster that had more than enough experience last season, with from Sohan to Vassell to Keldon to Trey, Malachi, Blake Wesley. The list goes on and on and on. I think that experience that they got the bad experience, so they're not going to want to go through that again. And then you add in a Wemby who's going to rejuvenate them, and Popovich, and the rest of the players that they're going to bring in. I think this Spurs team has the makings of being a very dangerous team out west. Vinny, your thoughts?
I agree with that. I mean, the future is really bright. I mean, they have money, they have draft picks. I mean, to your point, there's a lot of business to be done beyond Wemby. I mean, they are in a position, they are set. I mean, I think Oklahoma City has more draft picks, but San Antonio's in a really healthy position, whether they use draft picks to make a trade, for somebody else, or if they use the capital. I mean, they are sitting pretty. I mean, they have lost for a reason. As you've often said, everybody understood the assignment. A guy told me the other day, he's like, I work at a hotel where visiting teams stay when they come to San Antonio, and I told every one of them last season, you guys got to win tonight. We're not worried about this year. We're worried about down the road. So, I mean, everybody has understood what has happened here. And again, to circle back, I would actually line up San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston all alongside each other, and go from red to yellow to green. Let's start the race. I don't agree with stacking up 1, 2, 3. I don't see it that way. I think all three Texas franchises are kind of right there, and let's see who can win the race.
Yeah. Of the other two franchises, I think Houston, could probably arguably, like you mentioned, Sean, right there with the Spurs, because we're forgetting that Houston has had a lot of top 10, top 5 picks that just cannot get it done, whether it be the coaching side of things. But now they've corrected that. I think Ime is a great hire for them. He's definitely going to turn that young squad around. So, and also too, you look at Houston and San Antonio, Vinny, it's almost like they're kind of on the same timeline. I'm looking forward to when they get going, both franchises, and really start their groove and really picking up wins. Imagine that Houston San Antonio rivalry ignited once again.
It's been dead for a while. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. I mean, the cities are, 2.5, 3 hours apart. It would be great to see that rivalry hot again. And we used to joke for years that the Dallas Mavericks were our little brother to the north. And they've been a little bit better than San Antonio in the last couple of years, but they better get themselves together, or we're going to have to label them little brother once again.
Yeah, and Wemby inadvertently may have set off the fireworks. I remember on lottery night when Houston was announced as the number 4 pick, video of him surfaced of him applauding the fact that Houston was not the last team standing to get that number 1 pick. and a lot of
That
Rocket players.
that was all the fuel the Rockets needed immediately. Yes, I mean, so
Yeah.
I hope he knows what he kind of did there. I assume he did. But yes, the Rockets will be ready to play Wemby and the Spurs, no doubt.
Yeah, so Barkley's totally wrong. The Spurs are not the third best team in Texas.
No,
Yes, you got to give Dallas just the nod right now because of Luka and where they're at currently. But San Antonio is definitely on the rise. We're not going to be surprised if the Spurs take Dallas down to the wire next season or actually beat them in the regular season series. Houston, I think they're still a ways behind. I think they're going to have to get used to the coaching staff once again. So that might take some time for them to get going. But no, Barkley, you are absolutely wrong. I mean, what's next, Vinny, with this guy? From the people, from the food to his, making fun of the women, and now this. What's up?
I think
What's up with him?
I think there's some jealousy there. I mean, he's he never got to put on a ring, and the Spurs have 5 and have played for it 6 times during the Duncan era. So yeah, I mean, I sort of laugh when I say that, but he's probably like, damn, San Antonio again. Here we go, more down the road, more finals trips or more Western Conference finals trips to the Riverwalk. So I think he probably kind of wishes they didn't land the number 1. But hey, the basketball gods lined up, and fate was with San Antonio that night. So let's go.
Absolutely. When we get back, we're going to now talk about the San Antonio mayor, Ron Nuremberg, fighting back, getting back at Skip Bayless, notorious among the Spurs fan base. And by the way, Nuremberg is not the only one that wants a piece of Bayless. Vinny here, the Vin dog, wants to go at Bayless as well, right here on Locked On Spurs. Yeah, stay tuned to find out what Mr. Bayless had to say this time, Spurs fans. Right here on Locked On Spurs with Vinny Vinzetta. Follow him on Twitter at VVinzetta. Make sure you do that right now. Hey, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. Look, make a fast break to FanDuel during the NBA playoffs because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Look, you got to love FanDuel. They have great promotions every day, safe, secure app. You get paid instantly. What more do you want out of FanDuel? There's no better place to bet all the playoff action other than America's #1 sports book. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. I also want to talk to you about Mudslingers, our favorite place in San Antonio to get yourself a good drink, whether it be coffee, cold brew, latte, and much, much more. So if you stayed up late, San Antonio, or you just need to pick me up, look no further than Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. It's locally owned, independent coffee shop, and they're proud to make delicious coffee for our community. They do it fast and friendly, so you get on with your day. You're in the mood for a latte, cold brew, or a Red Bull infused lightning bolt. They have drinks for every taste, including the new alien drink, which is inspired by Wemby as he's get set to come to San Antonio. They have 300 5-star reviews that cannot be wrong. They also have a wide selection of dairy alternatives, low-calorie options, even caffeine-free drinks for those who just want to take it easy. By the way, going back to that alien drink, you really want to try it. It's like every single known energy drink known to man made into one delicious treat. You got to get it. It's part of their Red Bull infused lightning bolt series. So check out the alien. Also check out the OG OJ if you want the nostalgia vibes of sipping on Orange Julius back in the 80s at the 80s malls in San Antonio from Ingram to South Park Mall. Check it out. It's called the OG OJ. Get one right now. Swing by Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee for a tasty and convenient caffeine fix. Located at 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive near 21 and 1604. They're open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. By the way, Vinny, I think you got to try one of those alien drinks. I think you should.
Hey, I'm not opposed to anything new, and if it supports Wemby, let's do this.
Yes, do it. Look, Vinny's going to go try it, so you should too. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at MudslingerSTX. That's MUDSLINGERSTX. Life is too short for bland coffee. All right, let's continue our chat right here on Locked On Spurs. But before we do that, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You guys are the everydayers. More Wemby on tomorrow's episode. So from Charles Barkley to Skip Bayless, what a way to end this episode of Locked On Spurs. But Skip Bayless, the self-proclaimed mega Spurs fan, Vinny, loves everything silver and black, yet tends to hop on and off the Spurs bandwagon faster than anything known to human beings. Back at it again. So when the Spurs won the draft lottery and the rights to draft Wemby, obviously he had a reaction to this on his show on Fox Sports. And he was talking about, it's going to bring him back to San Antonio, how when the Spurs were having their glory days, Vinny, that when he was in San Antonio, he felt like the mayor of San Antonio. Needless to say, that did not go over well with Spurs fans. They were just bashing him. They were dragging him, Vinny. They were kicking him to the curb, saying they don't claim him. Who is this fool? It got really, really bad for him. And it didn't stop there. The mayor of San Antonio, Ron Nuremberg, caught wind of what Bayless had to say and gently reminded him in a very political way that, no, Mr. Bayless, you're not the mayor of San Antonio. Hold up. Vinny, this is not the first time that Bayless has gone or made these wild claims of San Antonio. In his podcast, the Skip Bayless Show, he tore the Spurs apart, specifically Popovich, from how Popovich got the job to who's really behind Popovich's success. And no, it's not Timmy. He credited R.C. Buford, to how he treats media and to how he's too chummy with opposing players and coaches. Vinny, Bayless is on one lately when it comes to the silver and black.
Well, if there's one thing we know, Jeff, about Skip Bayless, Skip loves him some Skip. Just ask him, and he will tell you. The dude, the guy is absolutely a shock jock, 24/7. You ought to follow his Twitter thread when there's a big NBA playoff game going on. If one team gets a big first quarter lead, he'll go ahead and tweet at the game. Oh, well, game's over. On to the next one. And then what do you know? In the fourth quarter, it's a tight game. So he just lives for the comments. I mean, that is his thing. He loves to just throw out whatever, whenever. But yes, you're right. It's been fascinating. He claims that he's been a Spurs fan for decades and fell in love with their style and their way. And I think it was convenient at the time for him to jump on the bandwagon because he likes his likes and he likes his follows and he likes all the comments. So I think he joined the bandwagon. He's not from this area. He's born and raised in Oklahoma City, and he spent a lot of his writing career in Dallas. So it seems really convenient to me that he became a Spurs fan during the Tim, Tony, Manu days. But, yeah, that was fascinating to listen to him just destroy Pop really in every which way. And he claims to still love everything about the Spurs except Pop. So I'd kind of like to see him man up and come down here in person and come to a Spurs press conference and bounce some questions off of Pop, which, oh, by the way, he would never do. But I would love to see Skip show his face down here in front of Pop and see how that goes.
And you know what? If that were to happen, I can see Popovich just being gracious about it and answering his questions in a professional way and not to take a pot shot at him. And then you would definitely see Bayless run to his social media and be like, oh, I just spoke to Pop, the greatest coach ever now. And you'll be probably the first one to tweet at him or whatever and say, aren't you the same one that bashed him? So hey, that's just the way he is. And look, is he a shock jock? Of course. And this is not the first time that he's really ruffled the feathers of Spurs fans. He goes out bashing Kawhi Leonard for what he did to San Antonio Spurs. And then the next show, Vinny, he's wearing Kawhi Leonard's jersey, praising his graces and his glory and how he's the best basketball player in the world. This is where Spurs fans have issues with him.
For the longest time, he decided he's never going to call him Kawhi again. He only referred to him.
I remember that, yeah.
Well, he finally put that to rest, and now he's calling him Kawhi again. So people should take this guy. I mean, I know he's a network sports analyst, but take Skip with a grain of salt, blow him off. I mean, he's always going to make his comments again to get clicks and likes, and it's who he is, and it's what he does. He is not beyond ever making outlandish comments. It's what's in his DNA, and it's how he rolls, and it's how he gets viewers. And I guess on one hand, you can't blame him for that. They know how to get people to watch. But, you know, I, as you pointed out earlier, Spurs fans kind of know what's there. Like, he's not really a legit part of the Spurs nation per se.
Oh no, they're quick to say that. They say the Spurs fans will say, "Us as fan base do not claim him. We do not have any rights to him." It's like they're renouncing his rights, waiving him at the last minute of the trade deadline or something. Like, nope, get out of here. But no, you can already see it coming, everybody. if Wemby is the real deal and the Spurs turn their fortunes around and they're back at the top of the NBA mountain, guess he'll be right back saying how he loves the Spurs and he never left the Spurs and he never dunked on the Spurs and he never passed the Spurs. And that is probably going to be on the way. But yeah, you're not the only one, Vinny, in the San Antonio local media market there. There's other people that have spoken to me, off record, like, no, like, who is this guy? Who is this clown? So like, get out of here.
Remember years ago when Mayor Castro made just a hilarious video, kind of shots back at Chuck after Chuck took continued shots at the Spurs. We need to have Mayor Ron now step up and make a funny video and kind of put Skip in his place, right?
Yeah, I think that might be the best thing for Skip because he does not want to do any physical challenges with Mr. Mayor. Yeah. For those who are not from San Antonio or never been to San Antonio, the mayor of San Antonio is not physically not the typical looking type of mayor, very lean or skinny or thin or outrageously heavy. No, he stays in shape.
He works out.
He works out just a little bit. No, I mean, seriously, just Google Ron Nirenberg a workout and that guy you see lifting all that weight. Yeah, that's San Antonio's mayor. So Skip Bayless doesn't want any of that smoke coming at him if it gets to that point. But no, Ron is a good guy, and I'm pretty sure that might be coming if Skip keeps it up. But
go ahead. Can I circle back and add one more thing about Wemby? I just want to get caught up here in the hype here. So watching some of these playoffs and watching the Lakers and Nuggets and knowing how tall Wemby is, watching the game, in game, I found myself thinking, if this guy really pans out with these measurables, I mean, seriously, who can defend this guy? I mean, if he can discover the shot and learn how to work around the perimeter and dribble drive and work in the lane and play some defense and block some shots, I mean, the prospects here, I know I'm not saying anything that's not been said, but I just found myself saying countless times, wow. I mean, if this is really real, I mean, tell me who's going to be able to defend and stop this guy, and tell me who will be able to score him once he learns how to play defense in the NBA. This is going to be something fascinating to watch.
Yeah, and I caution Spurs fans initially to not get too down if Wemby's getting bodied initially, because teams are going to target him. They're going to catch him on switches. They're going to make him pay off the perimeter. They're going to force him in the paint. That's going to happen. They'd rather do that and then kind of rough him up a bit. Whether it be Joker or Embiid. Maybe Gobert is going to go at him. We should definitely Cat. I could definitely see Cat daring him to come up to the paint because he can knock down threes as well, and see what Wemby can do. It's going to be interesting. For me, what's fascinating is how he's going to adjust to the highest level of basketball in the world. That the one thing I wish he did was play at the highest level in Europe, and he never did. I think that would have been even better way for us to really gauge what he can be. He played at the highest level in France. He's just not in Europe. So we'll see. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think if I could venture a guess right now, I could see a player like Giannis giving him fits. What do you think?
I think so. I think so. They're the same kind of guys, and he'll be able to learn game in and game out from watching some of these guys, and they'll also bulk him up. I mean, I saw some past pictures of how skinny Giannis was and where he is now. So the Spurs plan will absolutely put on some muscle and bulk him up and allow him to bang a little bit more. But to your point there, players like Embiid and Jokic and Giannis, they're not going to take too kindly to this kid, saying, get ready, I want to win a ring as soon as possible. So there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to want to show this kid what life in the NBA is like, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm not going to get too, bothered in maybe that first month and a half of, he's kind of just figured things out. He's going to have a learning curve. Yes, people, this kid is not ready-made like Duncan was. Duncan was already a man. He did 4 years in college. Robinson was already a man. He did the Naval Academy 4 years and then some, then came to the NBA. So we're going to get a 19-year-old kid, a teenager, coming into the Spurs system in just a few short weeks. But that definitely is a chat for another episode right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, we're done talking. We want to hear from you. What do you think about the Wemby effect? Are you seeing it, whether you're in San Antonio or just globally? Are you seeing a lot more Spurs hype, Wemby hype spiking up? Are you buying everything Wemby right now before he even comes to the NBA? And what do you think about, well, the round mound and rebound and Mr. Bayless popping off the mouth again about your beloved silver and black in the city of San Antonio? We need to hear from you. You can let Vinny know on Twitter at Vinzetta. And speaking of Vinny, what is cooking in all things sports in San Antonio?
Right now, I'm strung out all over creation. I've got so many stories in the works. We're in that time of the year where it's not crazy, and got a chance to just work on some fun things, working on some Dallas Cowboys stuff and some UTSA stuff, and we got the state playoffs on the way for baseball and softball with some of our city teams here in the great city of San Antonio. So trying to finish strong this late spring and early summer and get ready to exhale and get ready for draft night and then Cowboys training camp, and then off we're running with another football season and Wemby in full effect right after that.
You know, there's one thing about the Wemby effect we're not talking about. I know you did bring it up. You brought up about how he's still a little bit of skinniness and, they'll beef him up. I'm going to ask the Spurs if they can hire you as a strength coach, because you are the Vin dog and you could take on guys one-on-one. You got that brute strength, Vinny. I think we're going to put Vinny and Wemby together, and Vinny's going to train him to look like Giannis after year one. Good job, Vinny.
I think after one day, the Spurs would say, appreciate your efforts, but you're fired.
Hey, but at least you can say for one day you're a Wemby's trainer.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
All right. And again, make sure to follow Vinny on Twitter at Vinzetta. And we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. YouTube, Kins 5 Plus app, Sirius XM Radio. Yes, you can hear Vinny and I this episode right now on Sirius XM NBA Radio, iTunes. I heard the list goes on and on. Again, you guys are the everydayers. Tomorrow's show, more Wemby. So for Vinny Vinzetta, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put on lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.